Hello everyone, welcome back to Chen Design Channel. A lot of the jewelry inspiration is from old technique. One of the technique is called granulation. I would like to show you how to arrange those beads into your jewelry. Hi, I'm PJ Chen, an authorized Rhino trainer. This channel is about sharing Rhino 3D knowledge to students and 3D model professionals learning various Rhino 3D techniques. Are you ready? Let's get started. For you may not know what is granulation in the jewelry, you can go to the Google and search for it. Basically, it is a lot of like small tiny beads covered into the area. The surface area, it could be completely covered or it could be covered as some sort of a pattern. This inspiration has been using in a lot of contemporary jewelry. So we would like to talk about how we can arrange the beads into the jewelry for today's tutorial. Let's go back to the Rhino. We would like to start our bangle by drawing an ellipse. Let's go to snapping into the center. And one of the length we want to type it is 30, which is gonna make 16 overall of this oval bangle. And on the top, overall I would like to get 55. So you can divide it by 2 doing the calculation, or you can put it here 55 divided by 2. Then it will Rhino will give you exact number on it. All right, so this bangle, we need to have an opening. The opening design is really depends on what you feel it should be. It's really, there's no set size for it, but however, if it is for men's and for women's, the opening will be slightly different because depends on the wrist you're going to put it on. So we're gonna draw a straight line over there and mirror to the other side, and we would like to trim the bottom off. So I no longer need those 2 lines. So basically what we get is the open curve of there. Now with this curve, I'm going to move it up roughly. It's really up to you how thick you would like to have, but I'm basically gonna move up 5 on the top and have that one to mirror to the other side, so it's kind of give us a even out space there. And then how do I close this form? I'm going to use the blend tool under the curve. You can use the blend and it will blend from here to here. And then you click OK, and from here to here, and you click OK. All right, so now this is our overall structure for the bracelet, and I'm going to join them. If you take a look on the front view, you're gonna notice the way we blended the very end part is really straight there. So what I like to do is I'm going to draw another ellipse that is exactly the same size for the previous ellipse that we drew. So let's use the ellipse tool. We want to snapping into the quadrant to quadrant, and also on the top is quadrant as well. Let's go to the perspective, and then we wanted to have a surface right there. So we are going to use the curve we just draw and extrude the curve straight. Okay, and from there we can use the this one that we have, and we use the command, it's called pull, which is leaving next to the project, and we want to pull back to this surface. Now if we look at the front view, you're going to notice that it's pulled back to the surface right there. Okay, so we no longer need this old one, right? So now the curve is completely wrapping around the surface. We're going to use that curve and trim the extra that we don't need. So now we have this surface here. Okay, with this surface, I would like to do a little bit change on the surface. First of all, oh, this is actually really good example. You kind of notice my surface breaking in the half, and I do like it to have a continuous piece. It's easier for me to edit. The reason it happened like that is because you have a seam here, okay? And let's go back few more steps. Because if you see this surface right there, you're going to see one is a little bit darker, and that is where when I start making my curve, the first place I click is where the seam is going to be. Okay, so we need to move the seam to the bottom. So let's go ahead and adjust the seam and move it snapping into the bottom, right? So in that case, when we trim, we won't trim it where the seam is. So let's use the trim again, using this curve as a cutting object, and then we want to trim the rest of it. Okay, so now we are having complete piece. Okay, and this is sometimes it's really important to do this. You will have a less problem later on to do the model edit. Okay, so to making a thickness, I'm going to use the surface tool, and then you have the one that's called offset surface. So we are going to pick up this surface tool, and we want to offset, let's say, distance to be 1.3. Okay, and we don't want a solid, we just want to have another surface on the top. Okay, so now we have this surface on the top. We are going to create the edge, and let me go back one step here. The reason I do not want to have the edge to be solid is, let's say if we have solid equal yes, then we have this really straight wall on the top, right? We don't want it straight because it's not comfortable. So what I did is, instead of make it solid equal no, and then I have this surface. So how do I build all the rim around it? Is I'm going to use the blend tool. I'm going to blend from this edge to this edge. Okay, so right here you can get a really smooth surface. I can also move it down a little bit so it's not that puffy. So we just wanted to get something a little bit round. The form of this bangle may be too flat, and I would like to get a little bit like heel at the middle of the bangle. So what I can do is I can go ahead and turn on the control point and try to drag the control point a little bit. And all of a sudden you see when I turn on the control point, this is something like a control point doesn't go on the surface, it go all the way, to where the original surface we cut it from. The command you're going to use is called shrink trim surface. So we want to shrink this surface there. Now it's go back to only on this surface. To turn on the control point is actually not much for me to turn it on, so I'm going to rebuild this surface. I'm going to rebuild, it's about U is 10, V is 8, and let's click OK on it, right? So now we are looking at the top view. I'm going to pick up all the middle two together, all right? And I'm going to make them coming out a little bit, but where it is on the bottom, I'm just gonna keep it flat. All right, so this is my design. Next, what we can do is try to scale it, and if you're holding the shift key, and then you can 3D scale those points, right? So now let's take a look on the perspective. It looks nice. All right, so then I'm going to escape. So the next step is how we are going to arrange the bead, and to arrange the bead, I need to have a curve to put it on. So next step, what we like to do is we're still dealing with this surface. The command we are going to use is under the curve. You have curve from the object, and this is a command called contour. Let's go ahead to select the surface we want to contour, and giving a direction from quadrant to quadrant and on the top view. and then hit distance for 1, which you already have it there, and you hit enter. Then you will get this curve right here. I have already made them into the blue color. Let's take a look on the perspective. So those are the curve. They are 1 millimeter distant from each other, and they actually on exactly the surface. Okay, so the first things I would like to do is to create my first bead. My bead is going to snapping into the endpoint or the quad at exactly this point. The diameter I'm going to use is 0.6 millimeter, right? And that's really tiny beads over there. Okay, the command you're going to use to have these beads go around entire curve, it's called array along curve. So the object is going to be array. It's going to be this bead, and then enter. Then you will click on the here. We don't know how many do we need it, so I'm just gonna try 240 to guess and see how it look like. All right, so they look pretty well. It depends on the design that you like. You can have it like really close to each other, or it's almost like touching each other. So let's do one more time. We are going to select the curve. And then this time I want to use the distance because everything's I would like to have the distance all the same. So in this case, I'm gonna just set it for 0.7. It's easier for us to operate it. Okay, so they look nice all the way to the other side, and the distance is 0.7. And that 0.7 is going to be used on the rest of the distance. So I'm going to copy this sphere from the center of this sphere, and I'm going to snapping into the endpoint of each contour curve that we have. Snapping here and here. Okay, and with that we are going to use the command again is array along the curve. Every time we're gonna pick up the ball, and this is the path, and we're gonna use 0.7 exactly on each of them, so they will look exactly the same distance, and we're gonna do that for all of them. All right, so now we have the beads on half of the side. Remember, you don't want it to have the bead hanging there. It doesn't look good. So let's go ahead to delete those beads over here. Okay, and then we want to delete the bead on the other side as well. As long as they are not hanging to the edge, you should be fine. Okay, so now with this bead there, let's go ahead to hide the curve. We select all the curve and we hit hide. Then we want to select all the surface together, and then we want to join them together. So now we have the solid piece. So what we need to do next is to select all the bead beside the middle one, and we want to mirror it to the other side. Rest of the job will be bowling unit together. I hope you enjoyed the video today. Please like and comment, and please share the video. This is really important for me to continue making free video for you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next Monday.